Now, I know I haven't been the most pro Sakura Haruno person out there, and a lot of times I do give her a lot of flack, so does half the fandom, but ultimately I gotta say, this week's chapter, good shit Sakura. Sakura, she was actually useful and did her thing, and I was like, yeah, about time, but ultimately, good shit. So for starters, coming into this chapter, Kakashi going in, I mean, his new eyes are stronger than ever. And I'd imagine, like, they are just way stronger than anything because, first of all, Obito was a beast with those eyes as far as, like, you know, he could use the Kamui, nobody could touch him. He ultimately, you know, started this whole fucking war using those damn eyes, or that one eye that he had for that matter. But now Kakashi has both of those eyes. And he also said something about having the power of Rakuto in there as well. So I'm imagining something to do with everything that happened with Obito is that there's some sort of connection to the sage himself. Maybe the sage helped this, or maybe since he had that power at some given point, Obito, you know, he was the Jubi Jinchuriki, he had like the full Sage of Six Paths power. It's also embedded within these eyes. I don't really know, and I don't want to go back into that stuff, but ultimately Kakashi was dominating this chapter, and it was just really one of those going back to strategy type of things as well, where he's kind of using the Kamui in certain circumstances. They're tricking her, they're outsmarting Kaguya. They really were using strategy, and that's something that I definitely appreciated because, you know, in Shippuden, it hasn't been the most strategic thing with a lot of these fights, but this particular chapter really just showed them using a lot of strategy to outwit her and ultimately do Kaguya in. And I mean, she was just on some crazy start a new dimension in this dimension type of shit when she absorbed the fucking giant retarded looking beast thingy and then started turning it into just nothing but this giant chakra bubble, creating a new dimension. I was like, god damn, she's on some next level Kid Buu shit, but she's not going to destroy everything. She's just going to turn everything into this weird chakra dimension. And a couple of them nostalgic feels when Kakashi said, this is our last mission as Team 7. I was like, damn, you know, it's really showing that we're coming to the end at the very least of Shippuden. Whether there'll be a part 3 or not, you know, that remains to be seen. More than likely not. But ultimately, this is definitely the last mission because at some given point, either after this little fight or whatever, or this big fight, shall I say, Kakashi might become Hokage. They're just not going to be a team in general. I mean, at the end of the day, the three of them, Kakashi, Sasuke, and Naruto, well, not so much Kakashi, it was more like Obito telling him you should be, but, you know, they're all trying to do different things, especially Sasuke's kind of like, I'm going to be Hokage, and it's like, bro, you've done some fucked up things. I don't know if they'll allow you to even do that. So without a doubt, there will no longer be a Team 7 reunion as far as them going on a mission together. So this is the finale of that. I'll definitely say that one of Kaguya's downfalls is her paranoia of being sealed again. You could definitely see that had a traumatic effect on her because she just constantly keeps on saying, I can't be sealed up. You know, I don't want to be sealed up. I got to kill one of you guys before I get sealed up. And that paranoia is what's driving her to make mistakes. It's the things that's making her like, oh, should I go to this dimension? Oh, I can't go to that dimension. Oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, because she's constantly paranoid about getting sealed. That really fucked her mind up. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of hoping that a lot of these powers that these people have at this particular point, especially all the Rakuto powers, aren't permanent, because I mean, Naruto and Sasuke are OP as hell right now. They're very fucking strong, and once you get rid of Kaguya and Madara, there's really nobody that could even contend with them. The only two is literally themselves. And then now Kakashi, he was just like absolutely ridiculously strong to the point where, yeah, it could be good as far as like if he was to become Hokage, he could actually protect the village, not only have the intelligence and the courage, but also have the strength. But at the same time, I mean, he has the full abilities of Kamui now, of what Obito had, so pretty much things will pass through him and can't touch him. But then also he was just using different techniques, and I was like, this dude is strong as fuck. That Kamui Raikiri, I was like, yo, he was going in good shit on that. I was like, this is beast. This is right now, regardless of last week's whatever at this particular point is behind us. Ultimately now Kakashi is really doing big things, and I'm really glad to see at the very least Kakashi is once again relevant and kicking major ass. I mean, Kamui Raikiri, I want to see that animated. And the ending just really shocked the shit out of me because, again, I'm not the biggest Sakura Haruno fan. I've spoken many different times why I don't really care for the character, but I gotta give credit where credit was due, and ultimately she did play a piece of the puzzle in taking down Kaguya at the very least at the end of this chapter, because they cornered her. First the Raikiri from Kakashi, then Naruto and Sasuke going in, and then she gave that fucking brute strength bop to the head, and I was like, fuck yeah. It's like, you know, Sakura did her thing. At the end of the day, you know, I gotta give the credit, and Sakura fucking punched Kaguya on her head. Now, upon first reading, I was a little bit confused. I was like, wait a minute. At the end of the chapter, is Kakashi confessing that he likes Sakura? I had to reread that a couple times, and I was like, oh, it seems as though he's referring to Team 7, and it kind of goes back to, like, for example, you think of the beginning of Naruto when they were pranking him, or Naruto was pranking him and dropped the eraser on his head, and Kakashi wasn't too fond of them. It was like, yeah, they're good kids, but ultimately he didn't really care for them like that. But now he's like, they look good together. I like this. I like you guys. But the way it was delivered, I was kind of like, yo, is this some sort of hinting at Kakashi x Sakura? That would throw me for a loop, but then again, it would be interesting. Although I gotta say, Kakashi deserves better. No, let me stop. This is actually her moment. I shouldn't be taking it away. And with the end of this chapter, it just makes me wonder a couple different things. First of all, is just the end of Kaguya, is her as a villain done after this particular point? I'm really hoping not, because to be honest with you, Kaguya hasn't had much of an impact, especially considering all the things that Madara did and everything that, even to a certain degree, that Obito did. Ultimately, for Kaguya being the final villain, I would like for her to have a bigger impact. So I'm curious, is this indeed her end? Is she gonna do one last trick before she dies? And also, if she is indeed dead, does that mean that Black Zetsu is going to be the final villain? He's going to try to do something, maybe absorb his mom's corpse, and we'll have some Bates Motel shit. But nonetheless, solid chapter this week. Good chapter. I'm going to give this one 7.5 out of 10. I'm glad Sakura did her thing. Kakashi seeming a little too OP, but at the same time, these powers are sort of temporary from what it was explained, that he might not last with these eyes, so he might not be this incredibly strong. And likewise, I'm hoping for Naruto and Sasuke. I hope we get a little bit of a scale down after this fight, so if they do clash for the title of Hokage, so to speak, it will be a little bit more fair. But yeah, good on the progression side. Seemingly Kaguya is down. At the very least, they damaged her greatly between the combo that they did. A lot of strategy using this one. Sakura going in. I can't believe I'm saying that shit, but yeah, it happened. And ultimately, good shit. 7.5 out of 10. But let me know what you thought of this chapter. First of all, the whole thing with Sakura actually being useful and doing her thing. Were you surprised? I mean, at the end of the day, regardless if you dislike or like the character, you gotta admit that she did do her thing in this chapter, so you credit where it's due. And ultimately, what do you think about Kakashi's powers now? Is he too strong? Do you want this to be a temporary power-up? And is Kaguya dead? Is this it? Is this the end of her villainy? And if that's the case, do you feel it's a bit lackluster? Also, what could Black Zetsu do? And were you trolled into thinking that Kakashi was confessing his feelings for Sakura? A lot of questions, but yeah, that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, if you could do so as well, that'd be awesome. I'm Fineb World, and as always, people, have an awesome day.